When you let back in what you've dissociated, the experience is wholeness. And wholeness is unconflicted. And the concept of punishment is meaningless. Yet, continuing, to give up the dissociation of reality, in other words, truly with a capital R, yet to give up the dissociation of reality brings more than merely lack of fear. It brings more than just peace. It brings more than just relief. It brings more than just the absence of anxiety and fear. In this decision lie joy and peace and the glory of creation. I tell you, as I've told you before, that absolutely everything you're experiencing, the flower, the stem, the leaves, the roots, the bowl that the plant is in, every aspect is awesome. It pulses with and generates love on and on and on. It is utterly divine and awesome. Right now, right here, this plant. And each one of you, as you sit there, are awesome. You pulse with love. You pulse with divine illumination. The experience of you, and I would say the experience of each other from each of your points of view, are awesome. Overwhelmingly glorious. I say overwhelmingly because it far exceeds what you might imagine. Right here, right now. To give up the dissociation of reality brings more than merely lack of fear. In this decision lie joy and peace and the glory of creation. Offer the Holy Spirit only your will to remember. Well, let me tell you this. The moment you begin to express genuine curiosity, you are offering the Holy Spirit only your will to remember. So offer the Holy Spirit only your will to remember, for He retains the knowledge of God and of yourself for you. And I keep reminding you, as it said earlier in the course, the Holy Spirit is nothing more than your right mind. So, offer the Holy Spirit only your will to remember, for your right mind retains the knowledge of God and of yourself for you, waiting for your acceptance, waiting for your curiosity, waiting for your desire to see outside the box. Give up gladly everything, all of your definitions, all of your preconceptions, all of your confidences that didn't arise out of a connectedness with the Father. Give up gladly everything that would stand in the way of your remembering, for God is in your memory, and His voice will tell you that you are part of Him when you are willing to remember Him and know your own reality again. Well, like I said, you didn't have a mother to remind you of your reality, but I'm reminding you of it. And you start reminding yourself of it, whether it seems true or not. Let nothing in this world delay your remembering of Him, for in this remembering is the knowledge of yourself. Practical translation: when you let God in, you're letting in your source. When you let in your source, you remember who you are. You snap back into your right mind. And so, let nothing in this world, which means let nothing in all of your current definitions, delay your remembering of Him, for in this remembering is the knowledge of yourself. That's how you remember who you are, by no longer denying your source. That's the only way you can remember who you are. Now listen to this. To remember is merely to restore to your mind what is already there. Neither behind the point of perfection nor advancing toward it. You're there. To remember is merely to restore to your mind what is already there. Again, this is not a process of achieving something that you aren't yet, and it's not a matter of acquiring what you don't have yet. To remember is merely to restore to your mind what is already there. You do not make what you remember. You merely accept again what has been made but was rejected, dissociated, separated from you. The ability to accept truth in this world is the perceptual counterpart of creating in the kingdom. God will do His part if you will do yours. And His return in exchange for yours is the exchange of knowledge for perception. Another way of saying that is, you will receive the experience of knowing in place of what you've made up, in place of the perceptions you've created, the definitions you've created. But I'll tell you something, the exchange has to occur. Just as you, in order to dissociate or get a divorce from the Father, were required to not just say you wanted to see things your way, you had to actually give a definition to a thing and then give your preference to it. To come back home, you have to not only be willing to say, Father, I'm willing to exchange my definitions for the real meanings, you actually have to go ahead and do it. And that's why I'm encouraging you at any time during the day, with any object in front of you, to let there be an intimate moment where you're willing to see and desire to see, you're curious to experience the awesomeness, the gloriousness of that thing, the gloriousness of what the Father is being right there, which you're not currently seeing because you do think it's just a material object. You're actually going to have to be willing to let the exchange happen, which means you're going to have to be willing to let the new experience in. Nothing is beyond His will for you, God's will for you, but signify but signify your will to remember him, and behold, he will give you everything but for the asking. Anything complicated here? Difficult process? No. It will be yours for the asking. Oh, that's too easy. No. Well, everything we're talking about is ultimately easy. Of course, the teachers and the developers of curriculums for awakening, religious systems and so on, will give you complex processes. And they'll tell you that it will be difficult because you are a sinner to start with. You're already on lousy ground with not much of a basis for deserving to ask for enlightenment and expect to get it, you see? Now, when you attack, you are denying yourself. What does that mean? When you said, Father, I'd rather see it my way, which was an attack on what really is, because you wanted to give preference to making your own definitions, you ended up unexpectedly losing the experience of who you were. You became the recipient of the result of your decision. And now you think you're blackballed. God has blackballed you. And it's going to be difficult to get back into the kingdom of heaven. You're going to have to go through the day of judgment. You see, you've been blackballed because of your disobedience. You were the recipient of your decision to disregard God. God wasn't the recipient of anything, you see? When you attack, you are denying yourself. You are denying yourself the remembrance and the experience of what you divinely are. That's what has happened. You are specifically teaching yourself that you are not what you are. Your denial of reality precludes the acceptance of God's gift because you have accepted something else in its place, an imagination that you are giving preference to. If you understand that the misuse of defenses always constitutes an attack on truth, and truth is God, you will realize why this is always fearful. Well, it's always fearful because ultimately you're the recipient of the attack. And you've already been the recipient of it, and you're already feeling vulnerable because of it. You live with an undercurrent of fear and insecurity, and you think it's just the state of life. It's the way life is. But it isn't. It's just that the kingdom of heaven looks fearful to you when you're saying it's something else, because you are truly afraid that what it really is will manage to register with you and undo your so-called creations. All of the definitions you've made up and all of the definitions that you've agreed with everyone else about, so that numbers give strength to your misperception, you see. You're afraid that reality is going to uncover the invalidity of everything you've made up. If you understand that the misuse of defenses always constitutes an attack on truth, and truth is God, you will realize why this is always fearful. If you further recognize that you are part of God, you will understand why it is that you always attack yourself first. You see, the ego's thought system is such that it targets you. It says you are unworthy. It says you are a sinner. It says you were born in sin. It says you are the underdog and it will be difficult to get out from under that status because you deserve it, you see. Everyone is down on himself first. If you're feeling uneasy, if you're feeling vulnerable, if you're never at peace, why, there must be something wrong with you. And that's a little difficult to take, so then you say, well, no, it's everybody else. And it's not you, and it's not everybody else. It's just that you've forgotten who you are. Continuing, if you realized the complete havoc this makes of your peace of mind, you could not make such an insane decision. You make it only because you still believe that it can get you something you want. And the only thing you ever wanted was to be able to define everything yourself, thinking that would be like being God, and that it would give you a pleasure and a satisfaction of authorizing things, you see. And you make that decision only because you still believe that it can get you something you want. It follows then that you want something other than peace of mind. But you have not considered what it must be. You say, gee, I didn't expect this just by saying, but Father, I'd rather see it my way. I didn't expect that I would forget who I was. You see, I just wanted to be able to authorize a few things. Like Mickey Mouse in The Sorcerer's Apprentice. He just wanted to be able to authorize a few things. He didn't know that, things could go amok. You didn't realize you would forget who you were. And you would lose conscious connection with your source. You would lose the experience of the integrity of your being. You didn't realize it. You didn't realize that's what you were asking for, or you would never have asked for it. If you realized the complete havoc this makes of your peace of mind, you could not make such an insane decision. You make it only because you still believe that it can get you something you want. What did Mickey do? Things started to go awry. Too many buckets of water and too many brooms bringing them in, filling up the castle. And what did he do? Did he go to the sorcerer and say, help? No, he waved the wand some more. It follows then that you want something other than peace of mind, but you have not considered what it must be. Yet the logical outcome of your decision is perfectly clear if you will look at it. By deciding against your reality, you have made yourself vigilant against God and His kingdom. Why? Because you are afraid that it will undo what you believe you have authorized, and it will take away any supposed authority you thought you had gained, and therefore it will take away what you require to be there in order to feel a sense of self-respect, as long as you don't remember who you are. And, continuing, it is this vigilance against God and his kingdom that makes you afraid to remember him. When the sorcerer finally came down the stairs and Mickey saw him, he cowered. Mickey cowered. He was afraid of what had the answer. You see? Now, you, continuing, you have not attacked God, and you do love him. You just thought you attacked God, and you now just think you're afraid of him. You have not attacked God, that's the truth of it, and you do love him, and that's the truth of it. Can you change your reality? No, you can imagine that you can and that you have, but you can't. No one can will to destroy himself. When you think you are attacking yourself, it is a sure sign that you hate what you think you are. And this, and only this, can be attacked by you. Poor Mickey. I'm sure he got very mad at himself for all of the ruckus that he was creating, but he was unwilling to abandon doing what made it worse. Continuing, what you think you are can be hateful, and what this strange image makes you do can be very destructive. Ha ha ha. The joke's on you. Yet, the destruction is no more real than the image. That's where the joke's on you. None of it is real. Yet the destruction is no more real than the image, although those who make idols do worship them. The idols are nothing. Your imaginations are nothing. Your definitions are nothing. The conclusions you've come to about yourself not only aren't true, they're nothing. The idols are nothing, but their worshippers are the sons of God in sickness. You are each the son or daughter of God, utilizing ultimate capacities, utterly divine capacities, well or poorly. The idols are nothing, but the worshippers are something ultimate. The sons of God. What? Behaving poorly. In sickness. You see? You didn't become something else. You didn't become immortal. You didn't become an orphan. The idols are nothing, but their worshippers are the sons of God in sickness. God would have them released, would have you released from their sickness and returned to his mind. Well, if you're returned to his mind, you're returned to your right mind. To be returned to his mind is to be returned to your right mind. He will not limit your power to help them. Let's back up. The idols are nothing, but their worshippers are the sons of God in sickness. God would have them released from their sickness and returned to his mind. He will not limit your power to help them, meaning your brothers and sisters. He will not limit your power to help them because He has given it to you. Do not be afraid of it because it is your salvation. Oh, but like I said last week, you're like someone who says, well, I wouldn't mind being gay if nobody had to know about it. Well, you've been given the power to help your brothers and sisters wake up, return their mind to God. Return their mind to the place of excellence that is within them by reflecting back to them, as I'm doing with you, what is true about them in whatever language works. And to help them remember the truth about them is your salvation as well, because what you give away, you get to keep. What you extend becomes yours. That's the way it works. Do not be afraid of it, because it is your salvation. What comforter can there be for the what? Sick children of God. The sick, ultimate expressions of God. What comforter can there be for the sick children of God except His power through you? If you want to remember who you are, you've got to let God back in. If you want your brother to remember who he is, you've got to remember God when you're looking at your brother. Remember, continuing, that it does not matter where in the sonship he is accepted. It can be right in the same room where you are. He is always accepted for all, and when your mind receives him, the remembrance of... Let's back up. Remember that it does not matter where in the sonship he, God, is accepted. Like I said, can be right there with you. He, God, is always accepted for all. Just as God does not know for himself only, you do not know for yourself only. I didn't say think, I said know. When you have the experience of knowing, which is far different from thinking or imagining, you know it for all. It is accepted for all. Remember that it does not matter where in the sonship he, God, is accepted. He is always accepted for all. And when your mind receives him, the remembrance of him, God, awakens throughout the sonship. There are no private thoughts. And there's no private knowing. When you have the experience of knowing the truth, you know it for the whole sonship. The whole sonship is blessed